Believe it or not, my love can't be bought, and sometimes niggas make me regret that it's not. Sometimes I think maybe I should just make myself as consumable as possible so that someone can slap a price tag on me and I can trade away my self worth and all of that just for like material items. Like, I met this guy recently. He gave me this necklace, 14 karat gold, opal, real opal, and diamond. It's a beautiful necklace and I love it so much, but guess what? It doesn't change the fact that that guy was a massive piece of shit, coercive, creepy, and disgusting. He chose that every time I was at his apartment, every single time I looked away, he tried to strip as if I wasn't gonna notice. Like, just unbuttoned a single button on his shirt and lowered his pants slightly every single time I looked away. Until next thing you know, I just looked at him and I was like, at first I thought his shirt was just slipping open or something because he's a skinny dude and it was kind of like some big buttonholes. I don't know. But the next thing you know, it's like it was just all the way unbuttoned and he had his like nipples out, bright pink as fuck, hair everywhere, and he was doing this thing. It's like, nigga, you're skinny, but he was trying to make it look like he was breathing heavy and trying to make his chest look big. It's like, nigga, I know you're skinny. You're thinner than me. You're not playing it off. And when I rejected him sexually, which I already did before he started stripping, which makes it creepy, he tried to like deepen his voice because he probably thought that I had the type of daddy issues where he could just try to be as insulting and dismissive and deep voiced as possible and it was going to make him be seen as sexy. No, I have the type of daddy issues where I see you as a fucking wallet. You see me as an object, I see you as a fucking wallet. And I also have the daddy issues where if I feel disrespected by you, I'm gonna start throwing fucking hands like my mother. Not a good trait. But anyway, yeah, he saw me about. He said, "Ooh, you should have seen how fast he just saw me talking to myself. Like, am I mentally stable enough for this? No, I'm not. Can I talk to him? No, I can't. I'm not stable enough for this conversation." He was like, "Oh, we don't have to have this conversation. Oh, we could just go to bed." And we went to bed in separate rooms. Because it's like, yeah, nigga, you're creepy and disturbing. Just what the fuck? But believe it or not, yeah, I actually, funny enough, I was joking when I said I see men as wallets, but they sometimes act in a way that makes me think I should. And that's so. Oh god, what the fuck? Why did a fly just hit me in the eye? I fucking hate flies. I see men as fully interesting, lovable, interesting people, but that guy that night, he treated me like I was just like someone disposable and worthless. There's more I can go into about it, but let's just say I'm glad that my self-esteem was high enough that I just really went, yeah, I'm not seeing this guy again. But it's still to a point I felt dejected. I was like, no, if I played my cards right and was more feminine and submissive, I could have let him buy me more jewelry, or we could have gone to the opera or French Laundry or this, and that. And it's like, I could have, yeah. But he would have just given me more disrespect. And it would have been shitty and stupid and awful. Do you really think that, simply put, I'll put it to you like this. If I can have a fantastic time with a terrible person, or a good time with a broke person, or someone who's a little less intelligent or a little more messy, which do you think I'd prefer? Simply put, there's nights where I've been out to like French food in the spa and stuff with dudes who are fucking terrible people. I mean, you couldn't even say something like, wow, what a beautiful sunny day. Not a single cloud in the sky without this nigga going, yeah, that's a sky. It's always going to be blue. That's how skies work. And he would always have something shitty and aggressive to say. And, like, it was just so lame spending time with him. He was pathetic in a lot of fucking ways. And it's like, I just thought to myself, this dude is so unbearable conversationally and just overall not a good person. Just bad. But at the same time, I kind of knew that he was thinking, if I keep doing nice things to this chick like, half my age, then eventually, maybe, just maybe, she'll have sex with me. But in reality, I was trying to get to know him as a person. He was showing that he was a terrible person who was still desperate for, like, validation, self esteem, and company. And I just kind of thought to myself, okay, he's fresh out of a breakup and he does not have a wonderful, welcoming, thoughtful, sweet personality, but he does have money and wants to spend it on me. And I can do anything I want with this man, and it can bring me pleasure in that way. That's cool and all, but simply put, nah, it's like I'd rather just hang out with my ex who's cities away and have a wonderful time with him. Because with him, it's like, okay, I can be myself in any way, shape, or form. I don't have to put on a wig or oil myself up nice or like do any like specific facade personality or because I can just be there like, hey, buddy, what's up? Can I shower at your place when I get there? It's hella sweaty. And then he'll just be like, yeah, sure, baby. He calls me a ride. I go to his place. We play video games and watch little TV shows and eat like Jack in the Box. And we have a great time just joking and watching little silly videos about video games. And it'll be enjoyable and fresh and lovely. And I prefer that. I kind of understood though why we broke up, because we broke up in the first place because of a lot of lying and a lack of effort that they did. And at some point I just kind of thought to myself, why am I with this dude who's acting like I can't get like a burger and fries on the DoorDash order that he's already going to be sending to his house for food, and like I can just fucking photosynthesize. And then on top of that, it's like he just was putting in like little effort in like everything, hygiene, mentality, all that. The relationship got stale, and then he worsened it with a bunch of lying. So I left, and I just thought to myself, I never thought I would leave that man. I thought to myself, I adore this man. If I ever leave him, I'm either gonna be the biggest whore anyone has ever seen, or I'm gonna be extremely celibate and never give it up for anybody again after the devastation that this will bring. I somehow managed to do both. I'm impressed by that. But simply put, I I also thought to myself, why am I with a man who's like, I don't have to date a man whose excuse is that he's poor and he'll use that as an excuse for why he can't do this, this, and that. I'd rather date a dude who can afford to like take care of himself, who can afford toothpaste, and I can take as long of a shower as I want and he won't give a shit. And they can order me any food I want, even extra, just to be sweet. And then I did date several types of those dudes, and holy shit, some of them have been nightmarish. One of them joked about their cousin getting sex trafficked, which is disturbing. The other one was the Frederick guy who kept just being a massive asshole about anything. He just hated fucking joy, yet still insisted on my presence and company. But sometimes I actually, like, how do I put this? It's good to know that I still have enough, like, of a soul and self respect enough where I don't actually fully commit to the city girls mindset of fuck that. These niggas are all terrible people. Treat them all like wallets and pockets. I could. Even though I've been punished for loving, it won't stop me from loving. Sadly. Like with the last guy I was with, the Alex guy, he was the one with the creepy sternum and the pink nipples. He was so fucking weird, and I'm still mad at him for ruining that, but I guess I'm grateful because I got to know not to waste any more emotional investment in this guy who I really, really liked. I would have loved to stay in his life. I would have loved to just have a future of like us watching more British television together and trying on wigs and cross dressing in public together and being able to talk on the phone for hours. I really liked him. That's why I was so devastated over what happened between us. Well, even though it's more like what the fuck he did, I didn't really do shit, really. Yeah, it was he just was not taking no for an answer and being incredibly creepy on a night out. And I'm glad because I could have just said, "Well, he could buy me fancy gemstones and stuff if I just like cuz the next morning after he tried to just pretend nothing ever happened and that things were still good between us." And I kind of thought to myself, I could play this up. I could keep seeing him and just recognize that he's a bad person, and I can just dedicate all my time and energy into just making a wish list, and whenever he pisses me off, I ask him to get me something off of it. Or I can play long game. I can see if he can help me out with this lawyer situation or this other situation, and I could. Sadly, though, I actually do desire someone who cares about me and loves me. I still do love myself, but I'm just saying I would rather not have someone who's just leeching me of my joy and energy, like the Frederick guy. I'd rather have someone who is in my life and treating me well consistently. To the point where it's like it doesn't matter how much fucking money they have. It doesn't matter if they make millions or I don't think I'd date a billionaire, but it's like it doesn't matter how much they fucking make because it's someone who I can still enjoy the company and presence of. And it's not me sticking around just because it's like, oh, they could help fill my fridge or get me a nice meal or take me to a spa or like, it's nice dating dudes where it's like I want to go somewhere, they get VIP front row tickets. If I want to do something, they're like, hell yeah, let's do that this Wednesday. Like it's nice to date that type of man. That type of man is not nice. Not all rich men are terrible, though. Not all wealthy men are inherently bad. But still, let's just say I'm just proud of myself for not giving up on love. Sometimes I draw myself a comparison from like Daisy Buchanan because, she could have easily given up her life, all of that, but she didn't because for a lot of reasons, she didn't. Like very deep personal reasons. But she also did say that she said about her daughter, she said, I hope my daughter grows up to be dumb because it's the best thing you can be as a woman. And basically, she was hinting that if she were dumb, she could just be happy and not be aware of anything wrong with her life and just be content and not know any better. But because Daisy, she's self aware, she's in a fucked up marriage to Tom, who's like abusive and miserable and a cheater. And like, she really wanted Gatsby, but he didn't offer stability. and she needed stability. She couldn't uproot her perfect-ish life in high society that grants her all the money and opportunities in the world, and all she has to do is sleep with some terrible bastard every now and then and hope that he doesn't come back home with gonorrhea or whatever and tolerate his attitude. And they had a family together. She couldn't sacrifice, like, her daughter, who she probably wouldn't have been able to keep, and her life and her, like, everyone she's ever known and loved for just Gatsby. She couldn't do it when he was poor, and even when he was rich, it was still through illegal means and unstable. Sometimes I draw comparisons like that. Daisy chose Tom in the end, but it makes sense. She was a woman in a time when women didn't have that many rights, so she was probably going to be fucked either way. She wanted to be fucked in the way where she had money and could at least have some sort of freedom that most people could not get. And sometimes I think to myself, I wish I could be like that. I wish that I could just, like, not idealize some romantic future here, and there, and I can just focus my eyes on the prize and not give a fuck about if a man is a good person or not. I could be like the lady on the arm of a gangster. I could be the Karen from Goodfellas. I could be the sexy bad bitch hanging off the arm of the mystery man who secretly does organized crime. But at the same time, deep down, no, that's not what I want. I could be on some politician's arm easily if I wanted to. It wouldn't be that hard. I could do a lot of things. I can put on a facade. I can make up an amazing backstory. I used to be amazing at lying. I unlearned the skill because otherwise people wouldn't believe anything I ever said ever. It's very funny. You can train yourself not to lie, and you can train yourself to lie. It's impressive. That's another video, though. But yeah, simply put, I thought to myself, I could make up a facade. I could tell every motherfucker I meet, oh yes, I'm British and Ethiopian, if it means that I don't have to just explain, oh, I'm just a normal black person with a little bit of Seminole Indian, and I have a speech impediment. Like, the first sounds more mysterious and sexy, but I don't care about being seen as mysterious and sexy. I care about being loved for who I am and appreciated by the right people. I could lie and say that I came from wealth and that my family lives in the UK or whatever. But no, I like to tell people instead, it's like, no, I'm bitterly estranged. What can I say? I could say a lot of things. I could say, "Oh yes, I worked this high-end job." Sometimes I do say that, but in reality, I haven't worked that high-end job in quite a little bit. And I can put on a massive facade if I want to and be in the best spaces ever. I did lightly test the waters on that, but I didn't do too many. I wouldn't say I lied about anything. I was still my authentic self, but I just presented myself in a way where it's like, hey, look, I'm a lady who's totally mentally stable, and you should take me nice places. And then, because I knew that men wanted, like, someone who seemed perfect. But then they don't hold themselves to that same standard, and it's not cool to me. Anyway, I'm not saying every person I date has to be perfect, but I would at least like respect and love and dedication, care, thoughtfulness, and someone to actually remember important things about me. And sadly, like, despite me dating, I've dated multiple types of dudes where if I really did keep my mouth shut and I didn't call out their disrespect and I held my tongue, I probably would have gotten like a neck covered in rubies or diamonds or gold. I probably would be at fancy events. I probably could have, like, but I have to remind myself, I'm not the sexy vixen bad bitch in a in a movie. I could be if I wanted to, but that would take a lot of psychological reprogramming, and let's just say it would be very fucking tricky. And I don't like tricky. I don't like complicated shit. I don't like games. I want it to just be as simple as, here's me. If you can't make my life better, I'm leaving. And then cool, it's like you got me like a nice fucking sapphire ring or whatever. You got me a nice fucking opal diamond necklace. Cool. You got me another cool sparkly piece of jewelry. But guess what? It doesn't change the fact that I can't stand your presence and you're draining me of my energy. So for that, I bid you adieu. Maybe be a fucking nicer person. I still have that in me. And even though sometimes, like, yeah, last winter I met a dude who was like, I'll give you $100 for every date you have with me where all we do is talk. And I would have entertained that had he not been such a vicious asshole, saying things like, ooh, well, you look okay, but you could do with some makeup, and trying to allude that I needed like more makeup and stuff, like foundation. And like, and just niggas ain't shit. A lot of these niggas ain't shit, and it's pathetic. But I trust that there are people out there that aren't shit and are meant for me, and I will meet them, and they will be lovely and everything I've ever wanted, and it'll be good. I'm not giving up hope on love just because I've been traumatized a million times over, because there's going to be a millionth and one where it works out, and I'll be so happy. But don't worry. That's also why it's important to decenter men or even love entirely, regardless of your gender. So that then you can just focus on what makes you you. Because if you lose touch of you, then you'll be in a fucked up relationship where you'll be like, okay, this guy, like, what if you finally did get the strength to leave that guy who has a fuck ton of money and was slowly like, you were letting his funds control your life and control your voice? You'd forget what makes you happy. You'd forget what makes you you. And then, let's say you tried to distance from him, you'd be like, okay, what do I like? Jewelry. Shit. More jewelry. Shit. Clothing. And then you have to realize you have enough jewelry and clothing, but you still feel empty. Why is that? Oh, right. You need hobbies. You need passions. You need to get back into baking, sewing, cleaning, organizing, planting, gardening, spirituality, all the things that you forgot because you wanted to be palatable, to be consumable. And you don't deserve that. Anyway, that's just me, though. Peace out.